Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to show you this neat little device called the PS2 to GameCube Controller Adapter. I bought this on dealextreme.com for not even $5 and shipping was free. So this is a very inexpensive product and it does exactly what you think it does. You plug a PS2 controller into this end, you plug this end into your GameCube or Wii, and voila! You can control your GameCube or Wii games with a PS2 controller, proving once and for all that Sony can and does control Nintendo. Today Nintendo, tomorrow the world! Sorry, that was cheesy. Let me show you how the buttons are mapped. X functions as the A button. Square functions as the B button, so this will actually be your cancel button for every game. Triangle is the Y button. Circle is the X button. The D-pad is the D-pad. The left analog stick is the GameCube analog stick. The right analog stick is the C stick. The start button is the start button. The select button does nothing. As you might know, the GameCube controller has no select button. Both L1 and R1 function as the Z button. L2 and R2 function as L and R. So, let me just turn on a game to show you that it works. There are three minor flaws with using this thing. The first one, which is kind of obvious, is that the face buttons are different, so that can get a little bit confusing. Obviously, when the game prompts you to press a button, they're going to be showing you a button that's on the GameCube controller. So if you're not really familiar with how the buttons are mapped, then you might have a little bit of confusion there. The second flaw involves pressure sensitivity, which is why I picked Super Mario Sunshine. As you probably know, I mean, I'm sure you know this if you've used a GameCube controller, the shoulder buttons on a GameCube controller are pressure sensitive. And I found that the PS2 controller shoulder buttons are actually pressure sensitive too, but it's much harder to pull off pressure sensitive actions with a PS2 controller. In Super Mario Sunshine, if you hold down the R button all the way, Mario can stand in place and squirt water. If you just hold it down lightly, then Mario can run around and squirt water. Now you can still do this with a PS2 controller, but it's a little trickier to do. So that's actually the second flaw that I have to point out about this thing. But as you can see, it's fully functional. See, I'm moving Mario around. I can move the camera around with the right analog stick. I can use X to jump. I can dive with the square button. I can look around with the triangle button. I can change the FLUDD's function with the circle button. I can squirt water with R2. I can center the camera with L2. I can use L1 or R1 to bring up the map. I can pause the game. This game doesn't use the D-pad, so I can't show you the use of the D-pad, but I'm sure you can tell by now that everything works. The third issue with this thing is very minor, really. It's just I found a few games, or rather just a couple, really, that have a little bit of compatibility issues with the joystick. In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, on the stage select screen, the joystick doesn't work right for some reason. But it's kind of insignificant because, first of all, the joystick works perfectly fine everywhere else in the game, and you can just select your stage with the D-pad. And I tested it out on some other games too. In Pokemon Coliseum, the joystick doesn't like to work most of the time. But again, this is a very minor issue. This is fully compatible with just about every game. The main reasons to buy this thing, well, first of all, if you only have one GameCube controller and you want to play multiplayer GameCube games, this is a very cheap fix if you have PS2 controllers. Again, as I mentioned, it's not even $5. And also, if you just don't like the GameCube controller, then this can be a great buy for you. I mean, if you always wanted to play as Link, for example, in Soul Calibur 2, but you just don't like the GameCube controller, maybe you don't like the D-pad, maybe you don't like the button layout, this is the perfect fix. So yeah, that's just pretty much all I have to say about this product. I think if you're curious about it, you should get it. It's cheap, it works, and thank you for watching my review. I'll put the link to where you can buy this product in the description.